Store-bought bagels can get expensive sometimes, and the macros are kind of mid. If you look at the back of this thing, 210 calories for only 9 grams of protein per serving, plus this long-ass ingredients list. Today I'm going to show you guys my high-protein take on Sophisticated Gourmet's original recipe for New York-style bagels that you can interchange between sweet and savory. These bagels are a lot cheaper to make, and they taste better than what you would find at the store.
You get the idea.
Okay, let's combine our dry ingredients, starting off with some flour, then our vital wheat gluten. Today I'm using instant yeast. You can also use regular yeast as well. You would just have to bloom it in the sugar and water beforehand. Then I'm going to add some sugar and salt and mix that hoe up until it's well combined. Then we're going to add our liquids, so measuring in some water and just a little bit of vinegar. You won't taste it, it just acts as a dough conditioner for the recipe. Now we're just going to mix everything together until it's nice and shaggy. Yeah. Just keep mixing it until it starts sticking to the fork and you can't really get in there anymore. So now we're going to dump it onto the countertop, making sure I'm getting all the loose bits of flour in there as well, and we're going to start to knead. It took me about 2 minutes in real time until I formed a cohesive ball of dough. The kneading is just to make sure all the flour gets hydrated and there's no dry spots. As you can see, the dough should look something like this, nice and tacky. Threw it into the bowl and just covered it and leave it alone for 20 minutes or until it has doubled in size. Also, I forgot to hit record to show you guys how much it doubled in size. So now we're here. I already punched the dough down and deflated it, but we're just weighing out each piece to make sure they're even. Each piece was about 99 to 100 grams, and this took a lot longer than it usually takes me. I have no idea why. Anyway, so now that they're evenly portioned, I took each dough ball, grabbed all the edges, collected it towards the center, and then seam side down, rolled it out in this circular motion like you can see here. Doing this helps the gluten development of the dough and will also just make it nice and uniform. As you can see here though, the two on the right were kind of crusty, so I went back in and redid them to smooth out the tops. Pierce a hole in the center of the dough, and then using whatever motion this is called with your fingers, you're going to gradually stretch out the bagel to form its signature shape. The final appearance of your bagel is going to heavily depend on how you shape them during this step, so if you're somebody who likes when your food looks really pretty, that's something to keep in mind. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about at the end of this video because the bottom right and the top left bagel look a little bit rough in this clip and I didn't care to smooth it out, although it didn't affect the taste at all. After shaping the bagels, I went ahead and threw some plastic wrap on there and set a timer for 20 minutes to let the gluten relax before the next step. In the meantime, preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and you can also use this time to prepare any toppings you'd like to add, which is totally optional, but I love cheese, so I went ahead and did that. You also want to start a pot of water on the stove for when we boil our bagels. Okay, now tell me why the water took forever to fucking boil. Like, it took so long that my timer even went off before it barely reached a simmer. My bagels ended up sitting for an extra 7 minutes, which is fine, but 20 minutes should be the proper rest time. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to demonstrate that today. Anyways, once your water has reached a boiling point like you see here, you want to drop in as many bagels as you're able to fit, and we're going to boil them for a total of 1 minute, flipping halfway through at 30 seconds. When the time's up, you can take your bagel out of the water and just make sure that you're putting them right side up on the baking sheet. Now would be the perfect time to add whatever toppings you want, so I did the cheese from earlier and I also did whatever was left of my everything bagel seasoning, and then I left one plain. They go into the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes. You want to keep an eye on it if you're going to go a little bit over 20 minutes, otherwise you're going to end up like me. I took the bagels out after the 20-minute mark, and honestly I should have let them chill. I should have left them alone and let them cool down, but I was like, no, I want them a little bit darker. Bruh. And then this happened. Now they're a little bit too dark, so this plain bagel is going to be our sacrifice for today. I let them cool completely before cutting into them, and even though this one was a little bit overdone on the outside, the inside was still perfect. The crumb was the exact same as how a normal bagel would be. You can even toast these, and I low-key almost burnt myself from trying to show you guys the crumb. I wanted to do a lox bagel, but I ran out of smoked salmon, so here I am just slathering on some cream cheese for the final taste test. The texture was perfect and the taste was great, but the only thing that I thought was kind of meh was the top half of the plain bagel since I overdid it a little bit. But the others were perfect, and I actually used one of the cheese bagels to make myself a tuna melt later that night. 211 calories, 20 grams of protein, 29 grams of carbs, and only 1 gram of fat. Who doesn't love a good fucking bagel? I know I do. And if you guys want to see some more high protein recipes that are a little bit different than what's been going around right now, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.